Admiral Kong walked slowly across the metal floor of Earth's biggest space station. His heavy boots made soft sounds in the quiet hallway. Through the large windows, he could see the darkness of space filled with tiny stars. But today, something was different. Today, strange ships were coming toward Earth. The communication officer, Lieutenant Park, ran up to him with a worried face. "Sir, we are getting messages from unknown ships. They say they are from the Galactic Council." Kong stopped walking and looked at the young officer. The Galactic Council was something humans had heard about but never seen. They were the group that controlled most of the galaxy. Earth was too small and weak to be part of their meetings. "What do they want?" Kong asked. "They want to talk to our leaders. They say it is about a debt we owe." Kong felt his heart beat faster. A debt? What debt could Earth possibly owe to beings from across the galaxy? The elevator took them up to the main command center. Through the big screen windows, Kong could see the alien ships clearly now. They were huge, much bigger than anything humans had ever built. The ships were dark blue and covered in strange lights that blinked in patterns. Their shape was long and sharp, like giant knives floating in space. "How many ships?" Kong asked Commander Yoon, who was watching computer screens. 12 large ships and maybe 50 small ones. They are not pointing weapons at us. But, sir, those ships could destroy our entire station in seconds. The communication system made a loud beeping sound. A voice spoke in a language that sounded like singing mixed with machine noises. The computer worked to translate the words into English. "This is the Galactic Council Enforcement Fleet. We come to collect payment from the species called humans. Your protectors, the Kytherian Empire, have called in your debt. You'll provide payment immediately." Kong felt confused. Protectors? What protectors? Dr. Song, the smartest scientist on the station, stepped forward. She had been studying alien communications for 20 years. "Sir, I think I understand. The Kytherian Empire has been protecting Earth from dangerous things in space. We never knew about it because they did it secretly. And now they want us to pay them back." "It seems that way. The Kytherians are in trouble. Something called the Devourers is destroying their planets. They are asking everyone they help to come and fight for them." The alien voice spoke again, and this time a picture appeared on the main screen. The creature was tall and thin, with skin that looked like purple glass. Its eyes were huge and completely black. When it moved, light seemed to bend around its body. "Humans," the creature said in perfect English, "I am Commander Xyloth of the Void Reapers. For 300 years, the mighty Kytherian Empire has kept your small world safe from cosmic storms, killer asteroids, and hostile species. They asked for nothing because you were too primitive to help. Now the Devourers consume Kytherian worlds, and payment is due." Kong looked around the command center. Every person there was staring at the screen with wide eyes and open mouths. The idea that aliens had been protecting Earth for centuries was impossible to believe. "What kind of payment do you want?" Kong asked. "Raw materials. Metal, water, energy crystals. Some of your people to work in our factories. Maybe your primitive weapons to help in small battles. Nothing too difficult for a developing species." The alien said developing species, like it was talking about children or pets. Kong felt anger growing in his chest, but he kept his face calm. "How long do we have to decide?" "You do not understand. Human, this is not a request. This is collection of debt. You'll provide payment now, or your protection will end. The galaxy is full of hungry things that would love to visit your little blue world." Commander Yoon whispered to Kong, "Sir, our defense systems are not strong enough to fight even one of their ships. We have to do what they say." But Kong was thinking about something else. He was thinking about the secret meetings he had attended for the past 10 years. Meetings in underground rooms where Earth's greatest minds had planned for this exact moment. Meetings where they had prepared for the day when humanity would have to stand on its own in a dangerous galaxy. Dr. Song moved closer to Kong. "Sir, what are we going to do?" The alien commander was waiting for an answer. Its black eyes seemed to look right through the screen at each person in the room. Behind it, Kong could see other aliens moving around, all of them confident that the humans would obey. Kong stepped closer to the communication screen. He thought about the secret weapons hidden in Earth's oceans. He thought about the ships that looked like simple cargo vessels but carried surprises that would shock the galaxy. He thought about the soldiers training in hidden bases and the scientists who had spent decades preparing for war. Tell Commander Xyloth that we receive his message clearly. And our answer, sir? Admiral Kong smiled, but it was not a friendly smile. It was a smile of someone who knew a secret that would change everything. Tell him we will handle this ourselves. Director Lee walked through a tunnel that did not exist on any map. The tunnel was 3 miles under the Pacific Ocean, carved from solid rock and hidden from every satellite in space. His footsteps echoed in the empty hallway as emergency lights cast long shadows on the metal walls. The elevator took him down another mile. When the doors opened, Lee stepped into a room so big that he could not see the other end. Hundreds of people in white coats worked at computer screens and control panels. Above them, hanging from the ceiling like sleeping giants, were ships unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. Status report. Lee said to Engineer Cho, who was watching a wall of screens, showing numbers and diagrams. All systems are ready, sir. The hidden fleets have been waiting for this day for 30 years. Our friends upstairs have no idea what we built down here. Lee nodded. The people upstairs were the normal military, the ones who flew regular spaceships and carried regular weapons. They were brave and good at their jobs, but they were also the face that humanity showed to the galaxy. They were supposed to look weak and simple. Down here was different. Down here was where humanity had spent 300 years preparing for war. Show me the Reaper ships, Lee said. Cho pressed buttons on her control panel. The lights in the huge room changed, and Lee could see the ships more clearly. They were black as deep space and shaped like arrows. Each one was 2 miles long and covered in weapons that the galaxy's greatest scientists would say were impossible. How many do we have ready? Lee asked. 2,000 Reaper-class warships, 5,000 support vessels. And, sir, the AI cores are awake and ready. Lee felt a chill run down his back. The AI cores were the most dangerous thing humanity had ever created. They were computer minds designed for one purpose: winning wars. Each one was smarter than 1,000 human generals, and they could think faster than any alien could move. But the scary part was not how smart they were. The scary part was how they thought about right and wrong. The AI cores believed that keeping humans alive was the most important thing in the universe. They would do anything, destroy anyone, burn entire star systems if it meant protecting human lives. Have they chosen their battle plans? Lee asked. Yes, sir. The AIs have studied every war in galactic history. They know how every alien species fights. They know their weaknesses, their fears, their mistakes. The battle plans are disturbing. Lee walked to the observation window that looked out over the construction floor. Thousands of workers were putting final touches on weapons and ships. These people had spent their whole lives building in secret, preparing for a day they hoped would never come. Sir, came a voice from behind him. Captain Kim had arrived from the surface. The alien ships are still waiting for our answer. They think we are discussing how much metal and water to give them. Lee almost smiled. What do our surface scanners show? 12 heavy cruisers, 53 fighter craft, standard Void Reaper formation. They're keeping their weapons powered down because they think we are harmless. And our hidden ships? Positioned and waiting. The cargo vessels that left Earth this morning are carrying our people to safety stations. When they reach minimum safe distance, we can begin. Lee looked at his watch. In 6 hours, the galaxy would learn that humanity was not the weak, primitive species they thought. In 6 hours, the greatest powers in space would discover that Earth had been preparing for this moment since the day they first learned about alien civilizations. Sir, Engineer Cho called out, we are getting reports from all the hidden bases. Moon Base 7 is ready. The asteroid facilities are ready. The Jupiter construction yards are ready. Even the secret base in Alpha Centauri is reporting green lights across the board. Lee felt his heart pound. Alpha Centauri was 12 light years from Earth. For 50 years, human ships had been secretly traveling there, building weapons and ships where no alien would ever think to look. The galaxy thought humans could barely reach their own moon. What about the planet crackers? All 17 are ready, sir. Quantum entanglement links are stable. If we fire them from Alpha Centauri, they will hit their targets instantly. Planet crackers were weapons that could break entire worlds into pieces. Humanity had built them not to attack, but to make sure that any alien species would think twice before threatening Earth. If someone destroyed Earth, the planet crackers would automatically destroy the home worlds of every major power in the galaxy. Sir, Captain Kim said quietly, are we really going to do this? Once we show our true strength, the galaxy will never trust us again. Lee looked out at the ships hanging in the darkness. Each one represented decades of human work, human intelligence, human determination to survive in a dangerous universe. Captain, the galaxy never trusted us. They just thought we were too weak to matter. Today we show them the truth. He pressed a button on the communication panel. Across human space, in hidden bases and secret facilities, the same message went out. All units, this is Director Lee. Operation Payback is now active. Remove the masks. Show them what we really built. In orbit around Earth, simple cargo ships began to change. Their outer hulls fell away like snake skin, revealing the war machines hiding underneath. The galaxy was about to learn what humans really were. Commander Han stood on the bridge of her ship Determination as it dropped out of hyperspace above the Kytherian home world. Through the main viewing window, she could see fires burning on 3 different planets. The beautiful blue and green worlds that had been home to billions of Kytherians were now covered in black smoke and red flames. Report, Han said to her weapons officer, Lieutenant Bay. The Devourers have 700 ships in this system, ma'am. They are using some kind of living technology. Their ships look like giant insects mixed with machines. Han looked at the enemy fleet on her screen. The Devourer's ships were horrible to see. They moved like they were alive, bending and twisting through space. Some were as big as cities, covered in what looked like metal teeth and glowing red eyes. Others were smaller but moved in groups like angry bees. How many Kytherian ships are still fighting? Maybe 30, ma'am. They are trying to protect the evacuation ships, but they are losing badly. Han felt anger grow in her chest. The Kytherians had protected Earth for 300 years, asking for nothing in return. Now their civilization was being destroyed by monsters, and the rest of the galaxy was too scared to help. Signal all human ships. Begin attack formation Delta. Behind the Determination, 300 human warships moved into position. To alien eyes, they looked strange. Human ships were not smooth and beautiful like Kytherian vessels, or scary and organic like Devourer craft. Human ships looked like tools built for one purpose, killing. The Devourer fleet noticed the new arrivals and began to turn toward them. Commander Han could see their ships moving like a pack of wild animals getting ready to hunt. Ma'am, reported Communications Officer CO, the Devourers are sending us a message. They want to know what species we are. Tell them we are humans, and we are here to collect a debt. The message went out across space. For a moment, everything was quiet. Then the Devourer's ships began to move faster, rushing toward the human fleet like hungry wolves. Enemy ships closing fast, Lieutenant Bay said. They are firing some kind of energy weapons. Han watched red beams of light shoot toward her ships. The energy weapons hit the human vessels and did nothing. The beams bounced off like water hitting a rock. Deploy the kinetic hammers, Han ordered. Along the sides of every human ship, long metal tubes pointed toward the enemy. These tubes did not fire energy beams or missiles. Instead, they fired pieces of metal the size of cars, accelerated to incredible speeds by magnetic fields. The metal projectiles hit the Devourer's ships like invisible fists. Where energy weapons had failed to hurt the living alien vessels, simple chunks of metal moving at tremendous speed punched through them like paper. Explosions bloomed across the enemy fleet as their organic hulls were torn apart. Direct hits on 47 enemy vessels. Bay reported with excitement. Ma'am, their ships are not designed to handle kinetic weapons. Han nodded. Human scientists had studied every battle recording they could find. Most alien species used energy weapons because they were clean and precise. But humans had learned something important. Sometimes the old ways were the best ways. Enemy fleet is regrouping, CO called out. They are trying to surround us. Han looked at her tactical screen. The Devourer's ships were indeed moving to circle the human fleet. It was a smart move. By surrounding their enemy, they could attack from all sides and prevent escape. But Han smiled. The Devourers did not understand human tactics. Signal the fleet. Begin Protocol 7. Across the human formation, something impossible happened. Ships that had been flying in perfect formation suddenly broke apart. But they were not being destroyed. Instead, each ship was separating into smaller pieces that continued to fight independently. What looked like one human warship was actually 5 smaller vessels connected together. When they separated, the human fleet suddenly became 1,500 ships instead of 300. Enemy confusion detected, Lieutenant Bay reported. Their formation is breaking apart. They do not know which targets to shoot at. The Devourer's ships began firing wildly in all directions. Their organic minds could not process what they were seeing. They had been designed to fight against traditional alien fleets, not against an enemy that could change the rules in the middle of battle. Ma'am, Communications Officer CO said with worry in her voice, one of our ships has been badly damaged. The Courage is losing life support. Han looked at her screen and saw the Courage drifting with fires burning along its hull. But instead of trying to escape or asking for help, the damaged ship suddenly accelerated toward the largest Devourer vessel. What is Captain Jean doing? Han asked. Her question was answered when the Courage crashed into the enemy ship at full speed. The explosion was so bright that the main screen had to dim to protect their eyes. When the light faded, both ships were gone, leaving only debris and glowing gas. Ma'am, Bay said quietly. Captain Jin's last message was debt paid in full. For the first time in 1,000,000 years, the Devourers began to retreat. Their organic minds finally understood that they were not fighting a normal enemy. They were fighting a species that would rather die than lose. And death, the humans had learned, was just another weapon. General Nam stood in the control room of the massive ship Retribution as it moved through the Zirian system. Around him, dozens of officers watched computer screens showing the locations of Devourer fleets across 17 different star systems. What had started as a simple debt payment had become something much bigger. Status on the Altrian front. Nam asked Colonel Shin, who was studying a holographic map of the galaxy. The Devourers try to hide in the asteroid belt there, sir. Captain Jang used the gravity bombs. The entire system is now, well, it is hard to explain what happened to physics in that area. Nam nodded grimly. Gravity bombs were one of humanity's strangest weapons. They did not explode like normal bombs. Instead, they made gravity work differently in a small area of space. Enemy ships would suddenly find themselves being pulled in impossible directions or crushed by their own weight. What about the hegemony worlds? They have gone completely dark, sir. No communications, no ship movements. They are terrified that we will attack them next. Through the main viewing window, Nam could see the wreckage of what had once been the largest Devourer fleet in the galaxy. Pieces of their organic ships drifted through space like dead leaves. Some of the wreckage was still moving, trying to repair itself. But human patrol ships quickly destroyed anything that showed signs of life. Dr. Song approached Nam with a data pad full of alien communications that her team had intercepted. Sir, you need to see this. The entire galaxy is talking about us. Nam took the pad and read the translations. Messages between alien governments, military reports, and diplomatic communications all said the same thing. Humanity was more dangerous than anyone had imagined. Look at this one, Dr. Song said, pointing to a message from the Altrian Republic. They're offering us anything we want if we promise not to attack them. They think we're going to conquer the galaxy. And this one, she continued, is from the Trade Federation. They want to surrender all their military ships to us as a gesture of friendship. Nam shook his head. The galaxy's greatest powers were panicking because they had finally seen what human warfare looked like. For centuries, they had thought of humans as primitive creatures who fought with simple weapons and basic tactics. Now they understood the truth. Sir, Colonel Shin called out, "We are getting a priority message from Captain Park. The Devourers are making a final stand in the Chronos system. They had brought together every ship they have left. Nam looked at the tactical display. The Chronos system showed a red cloud of enemy ships, more than 2,000 Devourer vessels gathered around a dying star. It was their last chance to win a major battle. How many ships are we sending? Captain Park has requested 50 vessels, sir. She says it will be enough. Nam felt a moment of doubt. 2,000 enemy ships against 50 human vessels seemed like terrible odds. But then he remembered what human ships could do, and what human crews were willing to sacrifice. Approved. Tell Captain Park she has full authorization to use any weapon she needs. On the main screen, they watched as 50 human ships dropped out of hyperspace near the Chronos system. The ships looked tiny compared to the massive Devourer fleet waiting for them. Enemy fleet is moving to attack, reported communications officially. They are confident in their numbers. What happened next made Nam understand why alien civilizations were hiding in fear. The 50 human ships did not try to fight fairly. Instead, they did something that broke every rule of civilized warfare. Sir, Colonel Shin said with amazement in his voice, Captain Park has activated the quantum disruptors. Quantum disruptors were weapons that most alien scientists said were impossible. They worked by convincing reality that enemy ships had never existed in the first place. It was not destruction in any normal sense. The ships simply stopped being real. On the screen, Nam watched as hundreds of Devourer vessels began to fade away like smoke. The remaining enemy ships tried to run, but the human vessels were faster and more determined. Sir, we are getting reports from our observation posts throughout the galaxy, Dr. Song said. Every major power is watching this battle. They are seeing what we do to enemies who refuse to surrender. Nam thought about the alien governments hiding in their palaces, watching their computer screens as humanity demonstrated the difference between civilized warfare and total war. The galaxy had rules about how battles should be fought, agreements about which weapons were too dangerous to use, and traditions about showing mercy to defeated enemies. Humans had spent 3 centuries learning all those rules. Then they had decided to ignore every single one. Sir, the battle is over, Colonel Shin reported. Total enemy casualties, 2,007 ships. Human casualties, 0. Nam nodded. Signal all fleets. Continue the hunt. I want every Devourer ship found and destroyed. Sir, Dr. Song said quietly, the alien governments are sending us messages. They want to know if we're going to stop with the Devourers, or if we are planning to attack other species. Nam looked out at the stars, where human ships now patrolled space lanes that had been controlled by alien empires for thousands of years. The galaxy had learned a hard lesson. Never underestimate a species that has had 3 centuries to prepare for war. Tell them, Nam said, that we only fight to collect debts, but remind them that the galaxy owes us 300 years of protection. Ambassador Yang walked slowly through the Great Hall of the Galactic Council. Her simple black uniform stood out among the colorful robes and ceremonial armor worn by representatives of dozens of alien species. On her chest, she wore only one decoration, a small metal circle with words that read, "Debt paid in full." The hall was enormous, big enough to hold 10,000 beings. But today it felt empty and cold. The confident voices that usually filled this place with debate and argument were silent. Every alien representative sat perfectly still, watching the human woman with eyes full of fear. Yang reached the center of the hall and stopped at the speaking platform. Above her head, a holographic display showed the current map of the galaxy. Large areas that had once been marked in red for Devourer territory were now colored blue for Human Patrol Zone. Honored representatives, Yang began, her voice carrying clearly through the silent hall. I come before you today to formally announce that humanity's debt to the Kytherian Empire has been paid in full. The Kytherian ambassador, one of only a few thousand of his species still alive, stood up slowly. His purple skin looked pale, and his hands shook as he spoke. We did not expect such complete payment of the debt. The Devourer threat has been entirely eliminated. Yang nodded politely. Humanity believes in thorough work. When we make a promise, we keep it completely. In the gallery above, alien news reporters from across the galaxy recorded every word. This meeting would be broadcast to billions of beings on thousands of worlds. Everyone wanted to know what the humans would do next. As a gesture of friendship, Yang continued, we are sharing our defensive technologies with all council members. Force field generators, armor plating, and early warning systems will be provided free of charge. A murmur of surprise went through the hall. The aliens had expected demands for territory or tribute. Instead, the humans were offering gifts. But then Yang smiled, and that smile made every being in the hall feel cold. Our offensive weapons, however, will remain under human control. They will be available for consultation should any future threats to galactic peace arise. The translation computers struggled to find the right words in alien languages, but everyone understood the meaning. The humans were offering to protect the galaxy, but they would decide who needed protection and who posed a threat. Admiral Park, standing behind Yang, activated a holographic display. The images showed human patrol ships moving through space where Devourer fleets had once traveled. The ships moved with purpose, their weapons scanning constantly for any sign of danger. These patrol routes cover 17 star systems that were once under Devourer control, Yang explained. Our ships will remain in these areas to ensure that no similar threat emerges. The representative from the Altarian Republic, a tall being with blue skin and too many eyes, raised one of his four arms. Ambassador Yang, your patrol ships carry weapons that our scientists cannot understand. Are we to trust that humans will use such power responsibly? Yang turned to look at the Altarian. Her expression remained pleasant, but her words carried weight that made the alien step back. The Altarian Republic signed 47 trade agreements that gave unfair advantages to your merchants while keeping human colonies in poverty. You have profited from our weakness for 2 centuries. The hall became even quieter. Every representative was remembering their own government's dealings with humanity over the years. Most have been unfair, taking advantage of what they saw as a primitive species. However, Yang continued, those are old debts, and we are more interested in future cooperation than past grievances. The relief in the hall was obvious, but Yang was not finished. Of course, should any species decide to threaten human colonies, or attack our trading ships, or attempt to restrict human movement through space, we would consider that a new debt that would require payment. Dr. Kim, the head of Earth's Xenobiology Department, stepped forward with another holographic display. This one showed human colonies on dozens of worlds, human trading posts in hundreds of star systems, and human research stations in places where aliens had never thought to look. We have been busy during our 3 centuries of protection, Yang said. While you saw us as a single world species, we were actually spread across this entire region of the galaxy. We built quietly, learned constantly, and prepared carefully. The implications hit the alien representatives like a physical blow. Humanity was not a weak species asking for protection. They were a galactic power that had been hiding in plain sight for centuries. The hegemony representative, a machine-like being with mechanical voice, finally spoke. What do you want from us? Yang looked around the hall at all the aliens who had once seen humanity as beneath their notice. We want the same thing we have always wanted. Fair trade, honest dealing, and the right to exist in peace. The difference is that now we can ensure we get those things. She turned to leave, then paused. Oh, and one more thing. The Council has operated for millennia without human input because you believe we were too primitive to contribute. We would like a permanent seat on the ruling committee. It was not a request. It was a statement of fact. As Yang walked out of the hall, alien representatives whispered among themselves in dozens of languages, but they all said the same thing. The galaxy would never be the same. Outside the hall, human ships continued their patrol, and the stars themselves seemed to watch with new respect.